Hi, my name is Nicole Rosambo. I'm founder and CEO of Lucid, a business and brand advisory to tech, service, and lifestyle companies. We help our clients build, pivot, and grow their business model and brand experiences to help transform their company vision into their reality. Today, we wanted to hop on here to talk about when you're considering changing your business model. So when thinking about that, something that comes to mind is probably, what areas of my business model should I tweak, if any? And if I'm considering another business model, which ones are the most appropriate for my business case? So the next thing would be in order to know what decisions you need to make regarding your business model, you need to understand the puzzle pieces of it and zero in on the areas that need to be addressed or you might be having challenges in. So what is a business model? It's basically how you create value for people and how you create revenue for your company. So how you create value and revenue. And so what are the components of your business model? Well, one, they are your value proposition. So that's the value or types of value that you provide to your target markets. You're solving particular pain points that they have with this value. Two, your market segment. So those are the people you are solving the problem for. Key activities are the required things that must be done in order for the value that you have to be created and be able to be presented to the end customer that you're serving. Key resources are the things that you must have in order to do the key resources so that you can create the value for your target customer. Next is channels. So how you get your product or service to your customer, how you get in contact with them. Another really important portion of your business model is your customer relationships. So what type of relationship are you developing with each of your customer segments? How do you build that, maintain that, and grow that kind of experience or relationship with each of them? Partners are next on the list, and they're really important strategically in terms of they might be providing you with the key resources that you need to make your product or service. They might be helping you execute key activities that need to be done in order to provide your customers with your value proposition. So revenue streams are essentially that, how you're bringing money into your business by selling your product or service. Think about what revenue streams you have now. Are there some that you can add, the logistics of which would help your business? And what about your pricing model? How accepted is that by your target markets or your customer segments? Is how that they are paying for it, what they prefer? Those are questions to kind of consider in that area. And then lastly, cost structure. What are the most important costs that come with delivering your product or service, that come with getting your key resources or key activities in place? What needs to be had to be able to create the value that you're focused on providing? So the next thing to consider, you've got the reasons as to why you're considering a change in your model. You've got an understanding of the different areas that are in your business model and, where now you're having maybe the most challenges. And so the next thing to consider is the categories of a business model, where we're going to think about what could be most appropriate for us moving forward. The categories of a business model or categories of companies can tell you about how a business built its business model to serve and to sell a particular end customer, whether that's an individual end consumer, a business or organization, or a government entity. So these categories include B2B, so business to business. So that's when one business sells this product or service solution to another or to another organization. Two is B2C, so business to consumer. That's when a company sells to individual consumers and may use retail or wholesale to get to those consumers. D2C, or direct to customer, is when a business sells direct to their individual end consumer without the need of retailers or wholesalers or intermediaries of any kind. So after D2C, we have B2B2C. So that's when a business sells its solution, its product or service, to another business to help that business sell to individual end consumers. Next is C2C, which is consumer to consumer, where companies facilitate consumers selling to each other. B2C2B is business to consumer to business. That's when a business or a company sells to the employees of another company. And if those employees find the product or service as a great solution for them, they will advocate on behalf of the first business to their employer so that their employer will take on the product or service to help their company as a whole. Next is B2G, or business to government. This is also called business to public administration or business to public sector. So a business will sell its product or service to a government entity. And then lastly is C to G, so consumer to government. So a business or organization helps facilitate consumer interactions with government bodies. So when you describe your company as being a part of one of these categories, it tells people how they can interact with you and potentially how you can best help them. Now we get to the meat of this video, which is really what business models should you even be considering? What would be most appropriate? And so now we've got a sense of how you deliver value. We know or have an idea of where you might be having problem areas in your business model. And we have an idea of, the category that your business fits under, as well as some ideas for some other ways to interact with different markets, maybe, that our product or service could serve. And so let's get into this real master list I've put together of business models that you could compare with yours and assess whether those might be a right fit for you. So first we have the retail business model. So that's just businesses that sell to end consumers. They may utilize wholesalers or distributors to be able to get manufactured goods or created goods to their end consumer. Then we have the wholesale business model. So that's where a business sells its product or services to other retailers or businesses. Then we have brick and mortar. So a brick and mortar is a business that sells from a physical location. Then we have the reseller business model, which is where businesses buy a product or service from one business and resell it to another. Next is e-commerce. So that's just where a business sells its product or service online directly to its customers. Brick and click or click and mortar, which is essentially where a business sells to its customers from a physical location and also through online means. Next is the fee-for-service model. So a business provides its service for a fee to its end customer. The product and pay-for-support model. So businesses sell their product or service to a customer and then provide additional support over the use of that product or service for an additional price. Next is the product plus paid add-ons model, where businesses sell their product to customers and additional features are sold at a separate price. Next, we have the razor blade model, where businesses sell a product, sometimes below cost, and then also sell disposables that are required to use the product to customers on an ongoing basis. Next, we have the reverse razor blade model, which is where companies sell a high value or high margin product up front to customers. And then they will provide either for free or for low cost companion or supportive products that are needed to use that high value product they sold initially. Then we've got the Xaas model, like XAAS. So that really just means anything as a service. So it's where a business provides its product, service, technologies, different solutions, and additionally like support for these products or services solutions for a recurring fee. And we've got the freemium model. So with the freemium model, businesses will provide a free or basic version of their product or service for customers to try. And then customers can utilize the paid versions to be able to take advantage of or access the more advanced features that come with that product or service, all for a recurring fee. Next, we've got the advertising business model. So that's where a business might give away a product or service for free while selling ad space to advertisers who want to have access to the users or the consumers, the customers of that product or service. Next is the transactional business model. And that's where businesses sell a product, service, tool, or technology to customers. And with each sale of that product, service, tool, or technology, they receive a percentage of the sale. The usage-based business model is where businesses provide their product or service to customers, and they only charge when the customers actually use that product or service. The marketplace model, that's where businesses host an e-commerce kind of platform or environment where buyers and sellers can come and interact on there to create transactions. The membership model is where businesses provide a product, service, environment, and additional benefits to customers for a membership fee or recurring fee. The franchise model is where businesses come under contract with franchisees who want to use the brand, business model, and sell the product or service that the business has to end customers. And so the goal with that is to expand the reach of their business model and the brand. The shared assets model is next, and that's where businesses facilitate customers sharing their underutilized assets with other customers who want to use those underutilized assets without owning them. The manufacturing model. That's where businesses take resources or raw materials they've obtained and then create the products that will be sold to their customers. The distribution model. That's where businesses take the product and services that are from manufacturers and deliver them to customers like retailers and wholesalers. Next, we've got the lease model, which is where businesses buy assets and then sell them to customers by way of lease, which allows businesses to transfer ownership of the asset sometimes to the customers while the customers pay a fee over the lifetime of the lease, either equating to all or a portion of the asset's market value. When it's not an exchange of the actual asset or property, lease can refer to like the length of time, like a long-term lease agreement. Whereas when you think of a rent can have the connotation of being like a shorter term relationship. Which leads us to the rent model, which is in the rent model, businesses allow customers access or use of their assets for a fee for a set amount of time, where there will definitely be no transfer of ownership of any kind. So next we've got the referral or the affiliate model, and that's where businesses sell a product or service and encourage their customers or affiliates to promote or refer other potential customers to the businesses or to use the business's products or services in exchange for incentives like commissions from sales or resulting from the affiliate promotion. Next, we've got the direct sales or commission model, where businesses sell a product or service but don't use physical retail locations. So instead, they work with a network of salespeople to sell directly to their customers. The brokerage model. That's where a business doesn't sell a product or service themselves, but connects buyers to sellers offering particular products or services to each other. Then we've got the insurance model. So that's where businesses take on the financial risk of particular events in exchange for individual consumers or businesses or organizations paying premium pricing or premium fee for coverage. So next we've got HardTech, which can also be referred to as deep tech or BioTech. And so that's where companies develop products that require high levels of investment and take years to bring to a live or commercial version. And customers will sign LOIs or letters of intent to show their interest in purchasing the live version when it is made available. Revenue for these businesses can often be many years out, and high risk can be involved because of the technical and regulatory aspects of products these businesses are developing. Crowdsourcing. The crowdsourcing model is where businesses seek out and leverage a crowd, which can be part of their target market or third party to it, in order to source information, opinions, ideas, intelligence, skills, services, etc., in order to create and improve upon products and services they provide for their end customers. The charitable business model is where businesses make revenue from the products and services that they sell, and then include ways to support a cause or charity within their business model. And last but not least is a donation model. So that's where businesses or organizations accept voluntary donations from other businesses or consumers to create a product or execute a service for customers. So we've come to the end of our master list, which you can use to really brainstorm and serve as a reference for your considerations at this time. But yeah, how do we choose which one will fit our scenario? And deciding upon a new model or an additional business model comes down to understanding the problem that you solve, who you're solving the problem for, and how you're going to continue solving that problem, and assessing the changes you need to make to the remaining parts of your business model that may be affected by any kind of pivots that you make. And as a reminder, the parts of your business model include your value proposition, market segments, key activities, key resources, channels, customer relationships, partnerships, revenue streams, as well as your cost structure. So no matter what category your business falls under, B2B, B2C, B2B2C, B2C2B, no matter which one, you can always ask a series of questions to assess, what type of business model you might want to change to, or how you might want to tweak your own model, either partially or in totality, So here's some series of questions you can ask. The first area is around the pain that you're solving for your customer. So what is the pain you've been trying to solve? Has that changed? Or do you need to change the pain that you're focusing on solving? The next area has to do with your value proposition. So what's your value proposition now? What type of product or service do you provide? What are its problem-solving, benefit-providing features? Do you need to pivot your product or service to better address the pain you are solving for your customers? Then we can look at your customer segment. What are the types of customers that you serve now? Are they responding positively to your value proposition? Or do they feel that your product or service is not addressing the problem that they have? Are you looking to pivot your market focus to another that would be served better by what you provide? Then we can take a look at your channels. So how do your customers obtain or get access to your product or service? Does this need to change? How do your customers or potentially new customer segment prefer to obtain your product or service? So what do you have to be mindful of with that? And about your revenue streams. How have your customers paid for your product or service until now? Have there been changes in your market or industry that have created changes in the preferences of your customers or the customers you might begin to focus on serving from now on? And does the current business model you have the revenue model that allows you to earn the revenue you need to sustain and grow your business moving forward? And lastly, when reviewing your cost structure, what are the costs of your current business model? If you need to make a change to the cost you incur, how will this affect the rest of your business model? Is it doable? Is it sustainable? Or does changing your cost structure mean major changes to the rest of your business model and therefore require complete change in the model as a whole? When you're thinking about these questions, it's important to make decisions based on, yes, serving your customer in the best way that you can with the value you're creating, but also in a way that serves your company. Also keep in mind, some business models work better with certain products or services than others. So those are some things to think about when you're considering changing your business model. We went over reasons as to why you might change, zeroing in on any challenges within our business model that we would need to address. We looked at the different categories that our company or business could fit under, as well as different business models that could be paired with those to help us understand who we can interact with and how we could best help them. And then just ask some follow-up questions as to, okay, based on what we know, based on this list of business models that we can kind of work with, what would help us best solve the problems we're having now? Moving forward, what we're going to do is just go through that business model list in more detail so that you can get a sense of some examples and how they could be the most applicable to you. So thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful. Please like, subscribe, share, and let me know if you have any questions or any further comments. I'd love to hear about them. So I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.